Yes, that wonderful question. Is it because of the skin I'm in? But once again, we are back at it. MEAC'n Up, the MEAC'n Up Hour. Want to say what's up to the crew, Will McKee, better known as Mackie, and the name, the man, the legend, Coach Carefree Jr. What's going on? What's going on?
Good to be back. I must be doing something living right if I'm back again.
Well, we were able to work out your contract. We were able to get those Skittles. We know you wanted all lemon, so we were able to work that out and get all lemon Skittles.
Oh my
But
goodness.
as we always do to kick off the show, just a couple shout outs. As always, we want to shout out the viewers, first and foremost, those of you that's been catching us. We truly appreciate the support and those who have shown us love. We truly appreciate you. We want to give a shout out to the inspiration for this, those brothers down in the SWAC world, the SWAC and the Fool crew. We truly appreciate y'all. Y'all the inspiration for this. So we give you a shout out and much success uh, going forward. Uh, and then lastly, let me go ahead and get it in. We are the champions, my friend. Let me move my mic. And we will keep fighting to
I
the
thought
end.
we were talking about MEAC and CIAA,
We are, but I
McKee.
gotta
I
give a
thought
shout out to my Trinidad College Tigers,
I'm
the Gators.
messing.
Once
I'm
again,
messing.
another
I'm messing.
another undefeated season. We won the
Awesome.
SIAC championship, 11-0, number one seed in the South region of the Division Two playoff. But we'll get into that in a moment. But let me pass it to Will McKee. I'm taking up too much time. Will McKee, you got any shout outs, and then Ken, we'll go to you. Go ahead. Uh
Uh-oh.
oh. Might have to take. Well, Ken, hold on. We got him. We got him.
There he
Brother
is.
McKee, he getting straight. Well, Ken, you got any shout outs? Any what's ups?
I got a shout out because I thought, even though there are several things or ways you can go with that, but shout out to Winston State and Savannah State doing a great job being featured on ESPN. Thought Winston State did a great job showcasing what they are about and what HBCUs, well Savannah State as well, what HBCUs are about, and it was good to see, and it was really good to see the positivity, the beauty, the fun, and everybody get to witness that. Just hate that it took some time for it to be done, but all in all, that was I thought it was a big success what they did and what they did this week. So shout out to ESPN, shout out to Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Good job. Winston State, outstanding. Was a very good show, and it was good to see the alums there as well. Was nostalgic. It
No,
was nostalgic.
no doubt. And now I want to ask you this, just to I like to get the wheels turning. Do you think that would have happened without the Dion effect? I'm starting controversy all of a sudden. Cause I'm
Well,
gonna I'm gonna
contrary
I'm gonna
to
get pushback. I need McKee to get back right. He's getting his technical difficulty straight. But Stephen A.
yeah,
Stephen A. You been at ESPN for a while.
that's
First
my
day.
other. That's my thing. It took a little while. I think it helped having Shannon on there. When you
Most
got another.
definitely. Most definitely. Most definitely.
But yes, but no to the Dion effect because, like I've told many of people, included in our family, HBCUs have been around long before Dion
I,
Sanders
I got
was
that.
around,
I got
and the
that. But
most, and he ain't the most famous person from Jackson State. I
no, we
think
know
you
that.
know.
But
All right,
that ain't the question. No, the
so I
question
don't know
is,
about this.
Steve. They just now getting there. Why it take so long? Like you said, they've been around for a while. The
Right,
great
that's my
Louisiana State
beef.
had one of the all-time winningest coaches in college basketball.
That's correct. That's
Remember
correct.
names: Earl the Pearl Monroe, Cleo Hill, you got big names, NFL,
That is correct.
SEC.
That's right.
So, uh, uh, so you know, I think it was the Dion effect. I think
No.
with a mixture of because we saw
I think
in the
it's an
midst of the lockout.
I think it might have been Stephen A. How you gonna let somebody that did not go to HBCU outshine you who went to HBCU?
You're
And
right.
Stephen A. might have wanna one up him,
Well, well. Now hold on, hold on. We got to.
but
We
this
don't
is
want to
only
overlook
Shannon. This is
Talladega.
only this is only Shannon Sharp's first.
No, I get that.
So,
I get
so
that. Shannon off the hook.
Shannon did it,
Shannon
but
off the hook. He
yeah,
we gonna let him off the hook.
yeah.
But 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 let's
But
be
Stephen
honest.
A. is Shannon,
Dion's
yeah,
but
yeah.
Dion's degree is from Talladega, so technically he's an HBCU graduate. He didn't.
He don't claim it though.
He was on. He did. He corrected that reporter. He was like, "No, I'm not a Seminole," but we will say in his
And that's a,
years
and
of
that's a and
college
that's a and
where
that's a
he
shame.
attended. Yeah.
But that's a shame.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not.
it's
That
a,
man chose to
it's
go get his
first of
degree.
all, it's just like Chris Paul.
No,
It-
hold on.
It's just like Chris Paul. He got his degree from Winston State.
We
He didn't
know
get it
because
from
he
Wake
made the
Forest.
right choice.
But that's because he left Wake Forest and didn't want to. I mean, come on, man. But he don't.
Hey, hey,
Look,
hey,
man.
hey.
I find
Hey,
it funny.
there's there
You
there.
you make your money, the money you make for Wake Forest and them. Dion them make money for Florida State and them playing for them, and then them bugs won't give them a degree. Work with them to get a degree, and then they end up
Well,
going somewhere to get their degree, and
well,
then
hey,
you put it in the background. Yeah,
hey.
I have a
But
real
but
problem with that.
but but well, McKee,
Because when I
I done
look on the
saw.
Clippers, when I look on the Clippers website, I see him. He said it says he's a graduate of Wake Forest. It don't say
No,
Winston
that's
State.
where he got drafted out. But McKee, I've already started the wheels turning because Ken did a wonderful job of shouting out Savannah State, Winston State. You know, they had the
This week.
episodes of First Take film down there. But I said, I had to start controversy. I said, is this strictly because of the Dion effect? Because Stephen A. been at First Take for a while. They just
Yeah,
now getting down there after all this hoopla. After they just,
Dion at Colorado.
but if he didn't bring the hoopla around the
Oh,
HBCU nation, because it put us on the floor. Even though we've had Thursday night games on for a long time, we had the Monday nights in January with basketball. They've had it, but with the hoopla that Dion brought to the
mm.
HBCU landscape, I think this is a trickle down effect. It's a little bit later. He's at Colorado, but I think it's a trickle down effect because their
Are
brother
you being
then had
serious?
they had
Are you
yes,
being serious?
yes. What took him so long to get there? What took him so long to get there? Stephen A. been the face of First
But
Take
black
for
college,
5 years,
Ben,
six
you know,
years, ain't it?
black college sports and stuff have been on TV for
I'm
years.
not. I just said that, but I'm talking in specifics to them filming the first takes on these campus. How long
That
has Stephen A. Smith?
okay,
How
I
long?
get what you're
That's what
saying.
I'm
I get
saying.
what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're
That's
saying.
what I'm speaking in
Now
specific.
it might be,
Yeah,
somebody saying you're not gonna let Dion one up you.
and that's what I'm calling out. And that's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
calling
I
out.
get you now.
Is
I
is
get you now.
my thing is in the midst of all the fuss and the hoopla and
Right,
why
right.
did it take that for y'all to finally come to Winston and
And do a
Savannah
show.
to do the
Hmm.
show? At least the NBA jumped on board trying to do it in the midst of the what we saw during the uh, 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 during the pandemic when we had the George Floyd murder and stuff. The NBA kind of was a little proactive in that, and then recognizing HBCUs and with their movement and the bubble, and they've started to build those relationships. But on, Stephen A. Can't let you off the hook. Can't let you off the hook, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
you 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 up in Colorado before you even came to a win. When the last time he went to a Winston State football game?
He wasn't at homecoming?
I don't I don't know, but I will say this. I've seen him coming out of the tunnel at Colorado. I haven't seen him
Yeah.
posted up
Yeah. Yeah.
at Bowman Gray.
And
That's
then
all
said
I'm
that,
saying.
but what was funny was he then said that was part of the problem with Dion's program. All these celebrities he got in the locker room. But go ahead, McKee. What do you think? I want to hear
McKee
McKee's
is
take.
back. Go ahead, McKee. Get your shout outs. I had to get the juices flowing early.
Cause
I
yeah,
see.
I don't mind jumping on
Uh,
Dion or whatever.
Hold on. See, stop that. Go ahead, McKee.
hey, me acting up already. So
There you go.
I love it. So yeah, I mean, I apologize for my video issues. Let me back up and take. Let me say this real quick too about what you opened the show with. Attorney Free was a big acquisition for this show. He's a credit to any show he joins, and the fact that we were able to nab him. And as you open the show with you, he's a namesake of the uh, legend that the show is dedicated to, which is Ken Free Sr., former MEAC commissioner for 18 years, first African American to be on the NCAA tournament, basketball tournament selection committee, and a host of other accolades that would take us several hours to name. So to get Ken Free Jr. on here is a big deal. So welcome, and let me throw this out here too. For those of you who are watching, we thank you as being did. Next week, you definitely want to tune in because next week we got a special treat for you. And Ken, please return so that you could interact with this rising star in the film world. Next week we'll have the director and producer of the hit movie HBSU. Mr. Eric Deal will join us on next week for the second part of the show. His film was just featured in the 13th annual Charlotte Black Film Festival and received an award there. It's an excellent film. It's on Amazon Prime, so please check this film out. The plot centers around a five-star blue chip type of athlete that has a chance to go to Power Five schools. He's recruited by the best schools and the best programs in the country. Best meaning as far as Power Fives versus others. And a HBCU recruiter comes into the picture. So check that
Oh
film
yeah,
out.
I love
And
it.
we'll have
HB,
Eric
isn't it
on
like
next week.
HB? Isn't it like HBSU, historically black sellout or something like that? Or
That's correct.
something like,
That's
yeah, I
correct.
saw
Yeah.
that on.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I gotta watch it. I gotta watch that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we excited to have him on next
that's
week.
excellent, man.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah.
The subtitle is "The Choice
Anything.
Is Yours." Run the same route or start a revolution. So yeah, see him next week. To go back to what y'all were going back and forth on, uh, before we do other things, you know that primetime produces a tailwind everywhere he goes. So yeah, I mean, but I'll say this too: Stephen A. has every chance he gets. He's highlighted his beloved alma mater and lifting up HBCUs in general. He's really been very vocal about that. They hadn't been to campus, but they've been on before. I remember the former chancellor Elwood Robinson was on a couple times, and it might have been when they were in a classic or something to that. But I think it all works towards the whole. I think we need all of that and some. I'll just leave that right there.
No doubt. And no disrespect to Stephen
No
A. I'm just having a
disrespect
little fun.
intended.
None intended. And let me be studious and prompt in my vociferous response. No, let me stop. Shout out to Stephen A. I was just trying to start something. I'm just trying to
No,
start
I
something.
that's
You
the
know how.
one thing I heard. They
Hey,
did a
hey,
great
Stephen
job, but
A. You went to HBCU, huh?
that's the one thing I heard though. Like when I thought how they did it was great. Winston State did a great job
Yeah,
showcasing
yeah,
them and what they
yeah.
do. But that was one of the things I kept hearing from people like, why it take so long? Steve ain't been on TV, that's all I heard. I'm like, y'all should just be happy you on TV. But
Yeah.
but uh but I
Yeah,
had to get
hey,
a shout.
hey,
It still was excellently done, and people what
that's that's why I brought it because
but
yeah, people chirp.
but people
I didn't-
they just don't. It's hard to explain the black college if you don't go to it, and it's like it's just hard to explain it or for people to get it because it's just different. The whole it's just different,
It's just that.
and it,
And Stephen A. know how we play. He went to HBCU. He
yeah,
went to Winston.
and I
He
mean,
know how we mess and we stir the pot.
well, I'm glad they but,
And if he get mad, bring us on first take and we'll explain us.
well, and he will
It's a good
Try to
idea.
get us on
he
the
would he would defend it vigorously about what he,
yeah.
but I look, I just glad Shannon looked good, Savannah State looked good. I mean, they did a great, and I'm glad they did it
Yeah.
great and did it how they did it, and they highlighted the universities to show that
Hmm.
we are more than just athletes or politicians or preachers. We we are a
Yeah.
lot more and just talented kids. I was very, very impressed for that little small
Yeah.
school in Winston-Salem.
Oh, that was an Aggie shot right there. You gonna let her get away with that? McKee, that was one of them Aggie shots. Don't let her
great,
get away
great
with
job
that.
for that
Hey,
little tiny school. Y'all did a outstanding. You even made Bowman Gray look like a stadium. It's y'all,
Oh
that
wow.
was
I knew it was gonna
that
start.
was that was
Hey,
beautiful,
McKee.
beautiful.
Hey, just let them know. Just let them know. It would take them 2 more seasons to catch up in the record
Oh
to
man.
y'all
Oh.
and my Tigers. So we could be small, but we can
Oh.
still ball.
Oh
Y'all need 2
man.
say seasons to catch
Oh
up to our
man. We
record.
played.
Just
Hey, look, we
so
played Hofstra within a touchdown. No, I'm kidding.
shout out to the Aggies.
No, don't
Hey,
shout
so
out nothing. I wish they do
let-
like Texas
let-
A&M did today and get rid of everybody. And let's start from scratch.
oh no.
Mm.
Let me do a disclaimer real quick. The views and opinions expressed
They are
on the
mine.
MEAC'n UP
They are
Hour
mine.
are those views and opinions of each guest. They do not
Look,
reflect those of the show as a whole. Thank
but
you.
I'm just saying the
So,
difference between the difference. Texas A&M say we ain't gonna pay you all this money. We'll pay you money to get rid of you. We gonna be like, well,
bring me my check.
you're right. We gonna wait till your contract up before we buy out. Buy out.
Shout, shout out to Coach Washington.
Buy out. No, but
Hey,
and on
y'all,
a
bring me my money.
serious note, I just wanna on a serious note, with basketball starting, I'm just want to shout out one of my former players. He came back home. He's at A&T now. Evan joined. I'm wishing y'all good luck
yeah,
this year. Even though off to a rough start, but you got a tough
he
one in
gonna have.
Virginia,
Oh,
but
they played.
Eh,
Weren't they playing UNCG tonight?
UNCG a couple nights ago. And my
Yeah.
line brother's son had 18 against him. He plays for
Oh
UNCG. Yeah.
wow.
But
Wow.
A&T's got they should win their
Who's that? Who's that? Let's give him a shout out. Who's the
Atwell.
lineman?
Atwell.
Okay.
Yeah, his son plays for he's a shooting guard for he plays alongside those twins. His name is Donovan
I like
Atwell.
Donovan Atwell. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the Sparty. I know D. I don't know if Mac, but I
eh,
know he would love to hear that.
eh,
But
eh,
yeah,
let, let,
Evan
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to
But
play some
Evan came
power
back. Yeah,
forward because they big man got hurt.
yeah. Evan
Go
came
ahead.
back
What's that? McKee?
came back to A&T. So it's good that he came back and he's back home.
He's like the second tallest on the active roster. They big man got hurt.
They got
Go
another
ahead,
6'9".
Mac.
They
Yeah,
got another
and
6'9".
oh, big shout out to those kids. Hey, now, but I gotta address the small school comment first.
Come
Um,
on.
let me say this. We
I
couldn't
thought you
move
forgot about
forward
that,
without.
man.
We couldn't
Did
move forward without. Let me tell you. So to the Rams out there, well, let me say to the Aggies as well. That is the unique part about that rivalry. People don't realize that there at no time was Winston Salem State. Winston Salem State was always about a quarter of the size of A&T. So when I came through Winston Salem State, we had about 2,700 students, 2,700 students. A&T was hovering around
7.
9,000 then.
Yeah,
Oh
7, 8.
yeah, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm gonna say 9 for the night. So it's in, the heart of that Ram. It was a fight we weren't even supposed to be in, but it just kind of speaks to the heart of that Ram to be one quarter of the size of North Carolina A&T and make it a tough rivalry. Now A&T leads the football series by quite a bit, so all you Google happy people, just chill out your
but
fingers.
but
But
no.
if you talk to anybody in this region, it
Right.
was never assured who was going to win that game. Whether
Correct.
it was the Bill Hayes era at
Right.
Winston-Salem State, the Pete Richardson era at Winston-Salem State.
Right.
A&T had some great teams in that period, but Winston was always able to
Right.
recruit well. And it's the legacy of Big House Games and
Mm-hmm.
that crew that kind of started that spirit of excellence there. But we love that rivalry. We absolutely love the
And I hate
A&T
it
rivalry.
stopped. And I hate it stopped. Don't you,
Yeah,
McKee? I mean, I
yeah,
joke.
yeah.
I joke about the small school. I was joking. Winston State's beautiful. Let me just tell you what they have done. Beautiful campus. Their nursing program, second to none. They have done a great job of what they have done with that campus and everything. That's why I said it was great to see them showcase how that campus has grown and how beautiful that it
Yeah,
is. Because Winston tried to put them in the one spot where they couldn't grow, and they proved Winston wrong in growing. And
yeah,
it was great. And about those games, and Ben will tell you, those were beautiful, fun times when
yeah. They
you
were.
see
Mhm.
you see a sea of red on. And we used to feel that we had to play it at Wake Forest because it got so big. People don't
Hmm.
realize the alumni that A&T and Wilson State have, and the
Mhm.
support that these schools have and bring. That's why you talk about the pageantry, the food, everything it was fun.
Yeah.
That weekend was a fun weekend. I know Winston-Salem
Yeah.
State hated when A&T left the CIAA.
Yeah,
It just was a manufacture of what HBCU and the tradition is all about, man. I mean,
it was.
I hate that that
It
that
was.
that gets
And
lost in everything.
it does. And it was different than the North. It was different than the North Carolina Central A&T rivalry. It was
Mm-hmm.
different. It was
Mm-hmm.
different than the Winston Salem State North Carolina Central rivalry. There was a fierce rivalry, but it wasn't that North Carolina Central and the A&T rivalry is blood. It is vicious. It is serious, and history shows us that it has spilled over into other areas before. Winston and A&T, it spilled over before. Uh,
Yeah.
but Winston and A&T was heated and it was serious, but it was a lot of love in the competition. That's the best way I can describe it. It was
It was
fierce,
fun. It
but
was great.
both, yeah, each school appreciate. I think the Aggies knew that it was special for us to be there with our numbers, our size, and
Yeah.
they appreciated the competition. But you can't with Central and A&T. It's not A&T's always been a little bit bigger, but it was an even fight as far as a
Yeah.
little more even revenue, size of school, graduate schools, and
I
all that.
right,
So
right, right. But I mean,
it was a
No
different
doubt.
rivalry.
it
Right.
was good because you've
Well,
got
I'm
so
glad.
many Rams and you got so many Rams and Aggies, man. It's just a great rivalry
Yeah.
because it's so close because the
Yeah,
schools are so
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
very. Yeah.
And yeah,
Hmm.
it was the Duke Carolina of HBCUs,
Mm-hmm.
that type of rivalry,
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
basketball, football, to
It's
Hmm.
just
comparative for
it
those
just
that
well
might not.
it's yeah because they were just so close and like people from Greensboro were
Yeah.
going to Winston State for school. Winston people come to
Yeah.
Greensboro for school, and it's just that whole
Yeah.
everything was just connected. It's like heck, it's like
Shout out.
Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
It's so
Shout
connected,
out
and
to
they
the Trey
cut.
Pump.
Yeah, it's just it was a
And,
great. It's a great. I hate it ended because we still debate on who's the best. We
We
still
do.
debate.
But we
and
know
those
right
names,
now.
you
You know right now though, who's the best because I wear it on my chest.
Oh Lord.
And
and
hey, no, go ahead.
big shout out to those names, Clarence Big House Gaines up at Winston Salem State, and men like Cal Irvin at North Carolina
Right.
A&T, Al Addles, Cleo Hill, Don Corbett Sr. The list goes on and on. Those leaders and those student athletes that they trained made that rivalry what it was because they were such class acts. I mean,
Yeah. And the rivalry started in the CIAA, so that is where we'll stay. I'm rhyming tonight. I was I'm sorry, I was listening to some Farrakhan earlier. But let's stay right there in the CIAA.
Oh Lord.
And yesterday, man, we had the CIAA championship. We all made our predictions. Ken, I'm gonna let you go first because you went out
You would. Let me.
you went out there and
I
you
went out
predicted
there.
the Broncos. You gave a score.
I gave a score.
And I knew it was gonna be tough for them to get to that point total because they've had
Look,
some scoring issues this year.
my over and under
But
was 30 points. I mean, I picked 30 because I said 16-14, and that was 30 points.
30
It
points.
ended up being
So
31, so I wasn't far off
yeah,
of the over and
yes.
under. However, I was on the
So
wrong side of. Hats
yeah.
off to
So
Virginia
we'll
Union.
call Vegas.
Hats off to
But
Virginia Union.
VUU avenged their
Yeah,
only conference loss of the season, which came at the hands of Fayetteville State earlier that year. And claimed the CIAA championship, which what Fayetteville State had been to. This was the fifth or sixth straight year.
yeah,
McKee, I'm not
they were
sure. Maybe
starting to
you
call it
can.
the Fayetteville State Classic. No,
yep.
the Fayetteville State
Exactly.
Invitational. Fayetteville State Invitational.
Invitational. So VUU came in there, was an underdog, and still handled their business. What you think? You think VUU can ride this momentum and do something
Well,
in the playoff?
they got to go to Cutstown,
Cuts time.
and which
Cuts
is fun.
time.
You know, they're
A
not.
shout out to hold on. Shout out to Jordan Davis, running back at Cuts Town.
Okay.
He was one of my youngest at Trotter Center. Shout out to Jordan and his aunt Tony.
Yeah,
Ken, you know Tony.
yeah, yeah.
You know
Here's my
Tony
only.
Bird.
You got a 10-1 Union team going to a 9-2 Cutstown, but Cutstown is the third seed on their side of the bracket.
Yeah. Cuts down lost in their conference championship yesterday.
But you got Virginia Union, who's a conference champion, and they got to go there. I have a
Strength of schedule.
uh,
Strength of schedule. Because
and
because because
this is a prime example why unions just
come on.
say we are going to the Florida Bowl and not the 1AA playoff.
He come and win it early. That's what I'm talking about. But Key, what you got for Key?
Look,
Do you agree with that sentiment?
I
I
do
wasn't gonna
not.
go there yet, But he went there. Let's go.
No, I
Listen,
don't. I don't agree
How
with
you,
that.
man.
come on.
But I'll wait. I'll wait.
No, I'm
No,
done.
that's you.
I'm
The
done.
floor is yours.
Oh, it's
The
me.
floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, first of all, big shout out to I had mentioned I stayed with Fayetteville State as my pick because I made the pick weeks ago and I wasn't going to go against that. But I did say that it would be a battle of who could get who to play the other team to play their game.
Hmm.
And I think, I don't think that's what happened. Virginia Union was able to do that. I think the ball was a little wet. I think it was a little soggy. They didn't pass as much as they did against Virginia State and in some other games, but they didn't have to because
Hmm.
they have a Byers. I think it's the tailback Jada Byers. Uh,
Yes.
is he had a game high 135 yards yesterday, and if you saw the game, his legs were just the stabilizer for the temperament of that win. So I was telling Ben earlier, if they can make holes for him like they did Saturday, and it'll be a different defensive line up at Kutztown. If they can make holes like that, they can win that game. Because that ground game at this part of the year is still a recipe for success. If you can keep that other team off the field and on the road, that'll be very important. The comment quickly about the Division II playoffs. There have been a lot of unfairness for years over the selection of the CIAA and the SIAC. That's unquestioned. So I get where you're coming from with that, Ken. The only point I would make is I'm a big believer that even if you choose, let's say, the Celebration Bowl in the MEAC and the SWAC, it shouldn't be chosen. You should always have an eye on the high water marks in FCS in that example. Meaning, I'm not striving to get my program to win the MEAC every year and that's it. I want to reach for the top. So I want to take on North Dakota State, whether it's in the playoffs or whether it's regular season. I've got to measure my program against the best in that division. Now, with the Florida Beach Bowl, we don't know enough about it. And I hope it's just the fact that we just don't know because we're pulling for the folks there to pull it off. Everybody wins with who we love if it's great. Don't know the payout. They did not have the kind of infrastructure to be able to say to the CIAA conference and to the SIAC what the Celebration Bowl was able to say because they had a TV deal on a major network. The sponsorship is different, and it's FCS. Division II is a different crowd, a different expectation of attendance, a different infrastructure of programs. So I didn't expect it to equal the Celebration Bowl, but you gotta know what they're offering. What makes the Celebration Bowl awesome is the payout. And all the other stuff is great too. SWAC versus the MEAC, that's a beautiful thing. But that Millie, that $1 million makes you choose it over, made Dr. Dennis Thomas and the SWAC commissioner forego the playoffs for the number one team at the end of the year. It was the payout. So unless y'all got numbers on what the Florida Beach Bowl is paying, if I'm Virginia Union, I'm going to the playoffs. But
Yeah.
I would not hesitate as the coach of one of those teams to voice my opinion on the selection. We got to step out there and say, hey, I don't like the seeding. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
I'm coming against the NCAA. That doesn't mean it means I don't like my seed. And this is historical. This has always happened. You've never given the CIAA the credit that it deserves for strength of schedule. And I'm just saying that. The same way other coaches voice their opinion about things that happen that they don't like.
Exactly. And that's the point. It's that level of respect.
Respect.
So
Why
so here's
do
my
they not? Now, well, go ahead.
so here's why I think it's bad for Virginia. One, your seating's awful. Two, you got to travel. You're going to lose money. Even if you're making $10,000 going to the Florida Bowl, you'll make more money going to go take that first round L to travel and come on back. Second of all, you've got to send the message to the NCAA that look, why are we going if we're going to keep getting disrespected with the seating we get, not respect? We build this bowl to make it like a celebration bowl or something that we can be proud of and make good money for our programs, for our college. I don't think I don't think the CIAA or the CIAC would enter in this unless they're not talking at least good money for the conferences and for the schools. I, I just
Yeah.
I just don't see it getting better because even for Savannah State's got a bye, but they're going to play Lenore Ryan. They're going to play, and I'm sorry, Ben.
You mean
I
Benedict.
mean
Hold on, hold on,
Benedict.
hold on.
Yeah, Benedict's got a bye, and they're going to play
Hold on.
Lenore Ryan the following week. Lenore Ryan is no joke. Lenore Ryan was a top team all year. They took a bad defeat early later in the year, but they are still a top team at one point, a top four team. So I mean they make it. I mean I'm glad Benedict got the top seed number, but what advantage did Benedict get when they're drawing? You should see who they got to draw in the second
We're
round game.
hosting them, but we're hosting.
I,
So our
granted,
situation
granted,
is a little bit better.
granted, you're
Our si-
hosting. Granted, you're hosting, but you ain't gonna make if the seller, you're not gonna make two. Because what I heard, the figures I heard was $250,000 was what they were giving each school. And I don't
oh,
care
okay.
what you host, you ain't gonna make $250,000
Well,
at a
now that we
homecoming.
know that,
So
though,
that's what
that's
I heard. It's not confirmed, but what I heard it was 250 from ADs that people had talked with and everything. It was a $250,000 payout to the school that participated. But
okay. Well,
I get
that
what
makes
you're
a difference.
saying about I want to measure up. I want to measure up, but at what cost? I mean,
Yeah.
at some point you got to say, hey, now I understand, like you say, being with Benedict wanting to see because they're undefeated, they're a top seed. We're going, we got to do on. But in all honesty, what round did they get beat last year?
Same way we had a bye, and then we lost in the second round at home to Wing It.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to start looking and start thinking. Unless you start playing and see the benefit of, let's say Benedict starts saying, "Hey, we got to open with Wingate, Clemson, South Carolina State, and everything." Then you're beating up your kids and your record, and they're gonna punish you for being 9-3. I mean, it's
Yeah.
where do you draw the line and say, this is we need to do this, build this. This is good for our school, good for our conference, good for the money for our program. NCAA, y'all can have it because y'all don't want us to win it anyway. I mean, it's that's just my take on it, and that's why I think the
But
Celebration Bowl finally
I,
got to be successful.
And let me say this.
but I think.
Let me
Oh,
say
go
this.
ahead, Ben.
Go ahead.
Let
Go
me.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, but see, my thing is, if you're gonna be in the NCAA, no need of following all those rules if you're not gonna participate. And I just go NAIA, have less rules, be able to take some of everybody. But if I'm gonna be NCAA Division II and do the compliance for the rules that are set up for Division II, I would also say it's got to be a more unified stance in my approach. I don't think a school in the CIAA unilaterally can make a move like that. I think the conference has got to be behind them. They got to
Yeah,
do a unified. They got to meet on that and say, hey, we're tired of this. We're taking a stand. But still, I still would have to see what the Florida Beach Bowl, what that whole package is.
I
I
got you.
just want to know. And hopefully we'll see soon. I haven't seen a release like the Celebration Bowl did to say,
Right.
hey, this is what you
Yeah.
get. Um,
And they're probably waiting to see what how they do the first year. But more likely it looks like
could
who was
be.
the runner up in SIAC.
Albany State.
So it looked like it's going to be Albany against Fayetteville State, more than likely,
Mm,
if they're
it's a
smart.
good game.
It'd be a
Yeah,
very good
that's a good
game.
game.
If
Hmm.
they're
Well,
smart.
yeah, but I don't think, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Albany State will get the bid. I
Mm,
think it will probably come down to either Tuskegee or Miles, because they actually had a better overall record, but Albany beat Fort Valley. I'm sorry, Fort Valley. That's what I meant. Fort Valley to clinch because they had beat Miles and Miles had beat Tuskegee. But that comes down to who's gonna travel better and
right,
who's gonna show up and
right.
show out. Uh, State's
And it
been known to
appears
travel
on
well.
McKee's point, the CIAA and SIAC were going to send their champions to the playoffs regardless. That's the way it
Yeah,
looks like to me. Like
That's
it
the way it
was,
looked.
that was a little, that was a little,
there wasn't going to be
that
a
was a,
question who was going of
and
whether they're
that's
going
the
to come.
difference. That's the difference between the Celebration Bowl and the Florida Beach Bowl. Because the Celebration Bowl was built on their champions, and but the MEAC kept the option to choose, but
Well,
they've been
but
sending their champ.
being remember,
So you
yeah,
automatically get that.
but
The
being
Florida
remember,
Beach Bowl was just set
Grambling
up.
and Southern, because Grambling and
Well,
Southern
yeah.
too.
Well,
They
that's
thought,
why they
yeah,
don't go to the playoff.
right.
But I'm
But
saying
they did that as
under the
well. Yeah,
celebration,
right,
you already know you're going to get the champions.
right.
The Florida Beach Bowl. This is for the folks that don't. The Florida Beach Bowl was just set up for those who have 6 wins or more,
Right.
and they're at good academic standing. So that leaves it open to say, hey, somebody gets beat in the championship, or somebody might not make it, but they have a good record, a good team, good travel base, alumni base. We can still have a successful game, though it may not be the champions. Um, now, but I will say, and great points to both before we move, because man, we already at 43 minutes. But
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I that is the weight of it, and I think to McKee's point as well, without them being forthright and really seeing what to draw, it's hard to really get a gauge from the novelist standpoint. But to Ken's point, I do agree that sometimes we do have to weigh and send a message, because we talked about that even with the coaching typecasting.
Mhm.
It's almost like the NCAA getting comfortable with just saying, "Oh, it's strength of schedule because your conferences."
Right,
And I'm like, man, I'm seeing some good football, some tough football.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's difficult to to the point like a VUU team that beat an impressive Virginia State team, came back and beat a tough Fayetteville State team after avenging a loss, which was only a 3-point loss. So it wasn't even. I mean, they've done what they had to do. And granted, to the point, Kutztown, yeah, they might have a tougher conference, but they're not the champs in their conference. They lost in the championship game. So it's tough to that point to be like, why VUU get
Yeah,
that seat.
you're a
But
conference
we
champion.
get it.
You're a
We
conference
but we
champion,
but we get it.
and you got to
But we
go
get it.
to another
Yeah.
to a school that's not a
But
conference champion. That's just that's
but
a
now,
smack in the face.
but now,
I think
yeah,
it's
it
a
is.
smack in the
But
face.
now, for me who likes the game, I do like the fact of going to see how we measure up against the other cats, because I'm one that's like, I want to send a message like, you shouldn't have put me here. We're gonna spank them and do this. I'm that mentality. That's the competitor in me. So I'm on both
And,
sides of that thing. I'm on both sides of that
I
thing.
just
Go
hate.
ahead.
I just hate.
I'm on
I'm
both.
thinking of the money side. I just hate losing money, even
Yeah,
if we win.
yeah.
I just hate losing the money. That's just
Ladies and
up in
gentlemen,
Yeah,
the travel.
Kenny is a lawyer. That's why he's
I,
on the
I'm
phone.
on both
Nah.
sides of it
Go
too.
ahead.
I get it.
Uh,
I'm on both sides of it too. I will say this too, though. We cannot live and die from bowl payouts. We have to, and this is the story of America, with minority communities being lesser money. That's a deep historic issue that I don't want to simplify. That took hundreds of 400 plus years to get here to have these inequities. But I'll say this: on a football program, athletic program perspective, you cannot live and die on payouts. And that's not to say all programs, no matter how much largesse they have, enjoy a great payout. That's a universal principle. But you've got to be able to internally fund the program to a adequate level, to the point where you're not chasing money all the time. And that's easier said than done. I get that. But payouts and being solely driven by the payout because you're less of money, that's not a blueprint for the future. It describes right now, but to anybody watching this show, to alumni, to corporate America with major gifts, hey, we have to be able to fund our operations.
Mhm.
Um, and that's a structural change that's longitudinal. I get that,
yeah.
you know.
Well, it's gonna be interesting the next week when we see who takes
Who-
the bid to the Florida Bowl, Florida
Yeah.
Beach Bowl, and we rooting for
When are they
all of
going to
them, no
announce?
matter
Did
what
they
the
say
score.
when they're going to announce it?
Nah, they haven't, but
Oh,
we'll watch. Shout out to HBCU Plus. Get the app. They have full coverage of the Florida Beach Bowl. But look, let's move because we can stay on that all night and because there's another it was another big matchup that went on in the MEAC, and I'm not one to gloat,
Oh no.
especially not now, because I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Can I be honest? Even though I predicted this, I'm straight up. I did not want it to come to fruition. Okay, I did not want it to happen, but since it did, I told you so. No. But But as you see the MEAC scores roll across,
Look, man,
uh,
it is clear. I just
that
thought
is
it is
essential.
clear. Clear. If Central can't run the ball, they in trouble.
Yeah,
If they don't get a good
and see,
running
y'all
game
got to
going,
watch the game.
I
I
watched
had
the
a
game.
family in
It
Harvey.
was
Yeah,
clear,
I
and
was at
and
a
it was
family in
like
Harvey.
Howard knew it. Howard made them
Yeah,
one dimensional where they were passing every down. It was a great, and I'm sitting up in there like Howard, how are y'all four and whatever? it just
they had a tough schedule too, though.
yeah, but they gonna be five and
Howard,
five
they
or
they
five
they
and
went to,
go into the celebration bowl.
but look, they had a close game against North. What 2 3 points?
But then they lose to
Then
Morgan
they had
State.
to go to,
Then
huh?
they lose to Morgan State.
No, they play Morgan
They
State
play
this
them
week.
this week.
They play
They
this
lost
week.
to
Who they lose
South,
to?
they lost to South Carolina
South
State.
Carolina
They
State.
lost to South
Yeah,
Carolina State. But
The
man.
MEAC's just
they
tough
had a
this
tough
year.
schedule. They had to go to they went to an Ivy League school and it was rough. But
Yeah.
they played two FBS schools this year.
Mm-hmm.
They played a tough Yale. Was it Yale?
Might be yeah.
I'm not looking at the schedule right
I'll
now.
look it up.
Um,
Yeah, it was Yale.
but
They
it was yeah.
they broke that.
And it was a screen.
They
No,
broke
let me
that.
stop.
Man,
I tried.
man, what the
I
Yale
was
is
going.
that?
I tried. But they I said they went to Yale and it was a screen. No, they played Harvard.
What the Yale?
Harvard put it on it, but Northwestern at Northwestern, a Big Ten opponent, they lost by
They
3.
lost to Eastern
They've
Michigan,
had
but
some,
they lost to Eastern Michigan by 10.
yeah. So they've had 2 FCS opponents. They played a tough Harvard team.
Yeah.
They blew a game against Hampton.
Blew it.
That that's the one that's a little
Hurts. It
suspect.
hurts.
I, yeah.
Yeah,
It hurts.
because that was the
All bets
one. That
off
was
in that game too.
yeah. That was the one that got away. But nevertheless, a tough team. I felt it brewing. Call it coach's intuition. I don't know. But it's going to make this thing interesting down the stretch because
Yeah.
now you have a three-way tie, and it all falls on the shoulders of the Morgan Bears. If the Morgan State Bears win, Central Central wins, Central will be back to defend their
So they
championship.
rooting for Morgan State.
Hard.
Yes. We see you, Amanda. Amanda watching the show. Shout out to Amanda. I just got the chat. She keeping us updated on the score.
What's that?
Shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in. But now, so it falls on Morgan State. If Howard wins the tiebreak. To your point, Ken. 5, 6, and 5 team.
Oh my God.
But
But a
let me
six and
say this,
five
and
team, a
I'm gonna
six
let
and
McKee
five
jump in.
team beat Jackson State. So
Yeah, you're right. But I'm gonna let McKee jump in because what's interesting and what McKee pointed out to me was the history coming into this game from their last matchup last year. So this and McKee, you can expound. Does this look like it's about to be the next? Yeah, Amanda said we all Morgan fans this Saturday. Hey, we got you. We got you.
we are Morgan.
So I feel you.
Oh.
So, but does this NCCU HU rivalry seem to be coming the new rivalry of the MEAC?
Well, well, I'm gonna say for this next week, Howard has to be
Again.
more careful. Howard has to
Oh,
be more careful.
boy, I like how you do
Shout out to Baltimore. Now, hey, because well, let me say this too. Look, Ken knows this. Ben, I'm looking at the chat from Amanda. Ben has a long history of this. When Ben makes these predictions on almost a weekly basis, and when he does it, and I don't want that outcome, I kind of say, "Oh man, what is he seeing that is telling him this?" Ben Stradamus. But
He
let me say
called that
this.
one.
He called. This is the thing with the MEAC I talked about a couple weeks ago. I used to predict MEAC schedules based on who was traveling to who, because in the MEAC it's a spread out conference. Now a bus ride from Durham to DC, I don't know if you could pull out the bus ride on that one, but the MEAC has always been tough to win up north. And often those northern teams won't be your conference champion, but they sure can spoil a year. But let me say this real quick. Uh, North Carolina Central ran the ball on everybody that they played, with the exception of Morgan State.
Right.
So they have a good running game. They have a good running game. But Howard is tough up the middle. Morgan State is tough up the middle. You don't go into the MAC conference in the Midwest and hold Akron and play Richmond to stay and beat Richmond like they did. You're good up front when you can give those FBS teams a run like they did, and they were in all those games with the exception of Harvard. I'm told that they lost to Harvard by the standard deviation. I'm told
No,
that's what they tell.
They got blowed out. I don't know what they deviated from.
It was the Brainiac mode.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know
but
what they
I showed
deviated
my
from, but it was a
I showed
deviation.
my math incompetence. Y'all exposing my math challenges. But I'm gonna say this: they did whoop a Pythagorean theorem out of the bag on them. I'm just saying that's what they did. Now, but I'm gonna say seriously. So the MEAC is a toss. Even Norfolk and Delaware State are good teams. You cannot sleep in any week of the MEAC. Everybody in the MEAC has to be taken seriously. So I'm ready to hear what y'all gonna say for this week. What are you? Because you got to go again, Ben. You got to try to go 2-0, and I want to hear what.
Hey, hey, look. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and go first. And now here's the thing. I was riding high,
Mm.
and they're at home hosting across the Beltway. Their Beltway rival, Morgan State.
Hmm,
But for some reason, I feel a letdown.
I
Mm.
do
I
too.
feel a
I
letdown.
do
Mm.
too. I do
I
too.
feel
Mm.
a
I do.
letdown.
Mm.
A man to say I did it. I had to rewatch last. I feel you, man. So I'm gonna go.
Super heartache.
Hey, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Morgan State beating them. I
Woo!
feel even though it's at Howard at Hyde, I think it's gonna be a letdown. I think Central, being the top dog, had the bullseye. There was some bad blood from last year. I believe Central ran it up 50 on them. There was motivation, but I feel like a letdown. Can they get now? Granted, they know that the trip to the Celebration Bowl is at stake, but Morgan seems to be a little tough. Morgan's got the same aspirations. They just need Delaware State to pull off like another major upset. But
Not gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna
No,
happen.
it's not gonna happen.
I think Central's going because we saw the last time Central came off a loss and they ended up
And
putting
Central back at
they did
home.
something up on
I
somebody.
think they back at
So
home. Yeah,
I
Central's
think
back at
Central's
home.
going
Yeah.
gonna win. I think Morgan's gonna win because they know they gotta pull it out so they can at least have a shot and just hope the Hornets can sting can, can sting the Eagles. But I don't think the Eagles gonna
No.
fly too high. I think uh I think Morgan I think Morgan will pull it out though. I'm gonna leave it at that. We only got a couple minutes. What you got? Give me some predictions.
If
I'm
I
going with Morgan.
if I was Corso, I'd
Central
be like,
returns to
not
defend the
so
title.
fast, my friend. No. Uh what people don't realize is people think this is a big rivalry game. This is huge. It's
Mm-hmm.
the last game of the season for a reason because people don't realize this is as big as a rivalry as Central T.
And both teams are three and
Yeah,
one in
and
conference.
so this is big and it means something. It means something to Howard. It means something to Morgan because Morgan can spoil Howard's weekend, and if Delaware State pulls upset, they'll have a finish off a great season, second half of the season. But then they still playing in DC. And I don't know what it is about them jokers. I don't know what it was about them jokers, but playing in DC. And I forgot one of my good friends, his son transferred from UNC Charlotte to play defensive back for the Bisons. He's a Grimsley grad, McMillan, and he's up there and he said
Oh
them
yeah.
boys are just playing different football. However, I agree with being on the letdown. I think it's gonna be a close game. I don't think it's gonna cover. Uh, but we're gonna see a 6-5 team in the Celebration Bowl. It's gonna be the
Oh, he going with the fight.
Howard Bisons, unfortunately. And I hate it because their game is first, and then Central. They should have the drama. Move that game to 3 o'clock. Let Central and them play, and then Central and them got to watch the TV to see what happens in that game. But they didn't. They don't
Well,
know how to
I'm
build
going.
drama in.
I'm going to be watching both. Well, after family pictures, my wife would set up family pictures on that afternoon. But anyway,
McKee, what do you think?
McKee, what you got? What you got, McKee?
Could you play? Reaction Band has a new cover of the Tim song. I gotta ease my mind. And I text y'all while the game was on. I said Central rode up there listening to Tim's song in the Afro beats, but the bus came back. with the reaction band cover. I gotta ease my mind. That's an inside joke for go-go lovers from the Northeast Groovers days and Chuck Brown. Big shout out to Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina
Right.
too, because go-go really started in North Carolina. But I digress.
They don't. They don't know. They
don't
don't
They,
know.
they
don't
don't.
say that up
They
there.
don't know.
Don't say that up there in
They don't.
DC.
They,
Don't say it
they
in
don't know.
Maryland, DC.
I got to take them to history. I got to give them history. I got to take them to school. Now,
Right.
I, oh, come on, Ben. You stand with me. Now, I'm gonna say this about the game. Uh, oh man, I feel a letdown too, Ben. It's MEAC. If you know MEAC football, Howard would lose. I mean that's MEAC football. That's MEAC football. Howard loses. That's what MEAC football does. And North Carolina Central goes and represents the conference again. Give us history. I'm trying to, Amanda. These two brothers here, they don't want to know the history of go-go music. They
Hey,
say
look.
this is
Listen.
not a
Hey,
music
look,
show.
Amanda. Hey, Amanda. Look, McKee played in the MEAC and he played in the CI, so he's got experience with this. Man, he was a South Carolina State Bulldog,
Yep.
and then he finished
Well,
as a Ram. Hey, he's
well,
got it.
brother. Well, I'll say this real quick. When I was at Winston-Salem State, we went up to play Howard. And that turf up there was unforgiving at that time. And big shout out to Jay Skywalker because they beat us 49-12, and that's when
I'm not. I'm
Winston-Salem
not.
State.
I'm not big on Skywalker right now. But go ahead.
Oh,
That's
hold on,
another
hold on,
thing.
hold on. Oh, that's right. He did tear up y'all season that year
No, I'm not.
when
No,
A&T was
no. I've been.
when they
I've been.
both was
No, I've been
undefeated.
disappointed with
Eh,
him. No, I've been disappointed with him as an announcer too. But go ahead. He need. He
Hey,
needs.
It's
He.
fine.
I
You don't
think.
like his style.
I think he's forgotten
You
shout-
that
don't
he.
like his
I think
style.
he's forgotten he went to HBCU sometimes. But go ahead.
Don't hold on. Don't do Walker like. Don't do
I'm
him like
doing him like
that.
that.
Amanda, look,
I'm doing him like that.
Amanda agree with you.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
But hold on, y'all know he from Cali, man. That was his first experience. He trying. Oh, man, to say
He
disrespect. Oh yeah,
is.
well,
He. You know he pronounced A&T's name wrong, and I don't know how you did that after the way how you whooped us on homecoming that one year. How you
yeah, he
get
did.
that? How you get that right?
That ruined y'all
Oh
year,
yeah,
cause
broke
y'all
our
would look.
back. Broke our
Y'all
back.
had swept. Y'all had swept North Carolina that year. Y'all beat Western and App, and was
yeah,
like, we on the way.
Yeah, and they came in there and he put on a show, and now he's just
Yeah,
been but as an announcer, disappointing. They missed an opportunity at the Celebration Bowl, and he main one missed opportunity with everything that our father and everything done for them and the program and all that. And it doesn't mention anything about the history of the Celebration Bowl and how it started, the Heritage Bowl and all that. He disrespected A&T, disrespected. I mean, I think they got him because he graduated from Howard, and they
ladies
just
and
want to make
gentlemen,
it. But that's another story. I don't care.
this
I
is
hope
what
he
we
writes in
call
and says you got it
a
wrong.
disgruntled Aggie fan. That's what we call a
No, it's
disgruntled
not.
Aggie.
He is.
No, I'm joking. I'm
hey,
joking.
but this
Jay
is so
Walker
Okay, look.
MEAC.
isn't this.
This is so
Jay Walker
MEAC.
so
You
Nah,
gotta
you
love
know.
it. This is so
hey,
MEAC.
we mean, hey,
Let me tell you
What?
why this is
no,
MEAC. Let me tell you why this
go
is
ahead.
We
MEAC.
CAA.
Eh,
Dog.
oh, I'm gonna tell you why this is so MEAC. Because me and Ben talked about.
PD Pablo.
Amanda,
I'm
You ain't
reading it.
gonna have it. No,
Uh,
no.
uh, North Carolina, come on and
look at
raise up. Take your
Go
shirt
ahead. Go
off.
ahead, McKay. Go ahead, McKay.
Twist it around your head like a helicopter. Good Lord. Big shout out to Petey Pablo and everybody in Eastern North Carolina. Big
He
shout
did
out to
a
y'all,
he did a great
Virgo,
he did a great job in Drumline. But go ahead.
Greenville,
McKee,
Character.
what were you saying about it so be at?
It's so, I'm gonna tell you, this
yeah,
is why it's so, this is such a so MEAC show tonight. because we talked about the brothers at Swack and a Fool that do the great show on the Swack. They are straight Southeast. They don't play. They come to the table. They give it to you raw. It's brilliant, but it's raw. And the MEAC rolls up with the Howard leather jacket on and the Morgan State $5 billion in research funding from the National Science Foundation. We roll up with A&T being the creme de la creme of 1892 land grant institutions, kind of dressed like I'm dressed on the show. And halfway through, by halftime, oh my goodness. If you've ever been in Corbett Sports Arena, hey, if you, hey, by halftime, I was gonna say something that might get us canceled because I was gonna use an adjective to describe us, but I'm not gonna do it. Now, let me get let me get to my what?
Hey, oh, look at that. Trey Oliver would not take questions from Jay on it. Wow. So I take it maybe that's a consensus amongst the Eagles. Okay.
He
But go
is
ahead,
you know,
Mikael.
he's awful,
But
man.
guys, let me say this. It goes both ways. Look, I'm gonna tell you this story. I'm gonna tell you a quick
How?
story. I shouldn't say this on the air. I'm gonna say this on the air. I don't care because Ken brings this out of people. Now, look,
Are we
there
out
was
of
a
time?
legend.
Are we out of time? Go
No.
ahead.
There's a legendary coach where I played my first stint, and he calls the team up and he says, guys, we've got to beat Howard this week. It was Howard in the crosshairs at that time, too. And he says, because if it's a tie, we're not going to get the nod. And then he looks over and says, because you know how Greensboro is, and looks at me. True story. So for years, what are you dudes talking about? If it wasn't A&T, if it wasn't North Carolina A&T, you couldn't get anything. Wasn't the MEAC office at A&T's sports complex?
No, it wasn't an A&T
What?
sport.
Yeah,
If you remember, it was in Durham
well,
for the longest
It
time.
started in
It was
Durham.
in
it should have
Durham.
stayed. It should have
And
stayed there. It should have stayed. So, guys, I'm just saying, for years, it was said that, especially like when A&T won 7 straight MEAC basketball titles back in the Corbett era, the golden era. So I feel central. But hey, y'all cannot take the fact that Jay Skywalker is a megastar of the MEAC. No matter what we think about him as an announcer, and I'm not co-signing what he.
I'm talking about him as an announcer. He's a
But
disappointment.
but we know we can look at SEC football. People get those picks because of how they played a lot of times, whether it's Shannon
But
Sharp
what's
or
that got to do with him not knowing his history? It can't help it if he's
Hey,
just because he's a
but
Howard
but now
superstar
look,
don't mean he
now
got to be ignorant. He need to read up on the
he.
stuff.
hey, look, Obama said no more
He
history. Delete it. Look, we ain't gonna
that's
talk
what.
about Jay Walker no more. We
Yeah.
don't want to upset the
Hey.
fact. But I
All
will
these
say,
old players that played and they get Jay Walker. Why?
well,
I don't
he had
know. I
a couple
can't say.
seasons with New
I'll tell
England.
y'all after why. The same reason AB was the head coach at Howard. The same reason why Willie Jeffries was there for a little bit at Howard. A lot of things. Why Sandra was at Howard. A lot of reasons. You do know John Thompson wanted to coach at Howard, and they wouldn't hire him.
They are you talking about the paper bag test? We're not gonna get into.
So
We're not gonna
I'm
get
just
into.
saying.
Oh, yeah. Amanda agreed. Well,
just saying.
that's for next week. That's
That
for next. We gonna wait to
mentality.
see what the outcomes
We
are.
can't.
We gonna see what the outcomes are, man, before we go into that. And and and
But
and,
he
and,
no, in
and
seriousness, he's terrible as an announcer. He's terrible.
I'm gonna have to
Horrible.
analyze them. I'm gonna have to analyze them
I'ma
next
speak
because
speak
I,
Spanish. Horrible.
he he the biggest criticism he's obvious. Well, I'm gonna let that go. I ain't gotta get into that one. But my prediction on the game,
but look,
my
He didn't make. He got to make his prediction, Ben.
it, it
I'm
in
struggling with
closing
it. I'm
though,
struggling with it.
Got to make his prediction,
but in closing, I want to say this. I want to say
Ben.
this.
He's got to make his
We ain't gonna worry
prediction.
about Jay Walker. We ain't gonna worry about Jay Walker. We gonna worry about these excellent institutions that's gonna take this field next week, and we got two of the three games got so much riding on it. So we gonna be rooting for our young scholar athletes. And to
I
Amanda, we appreciate the comments. I hope your Eagles will fly this weekend
I want to
and
hear
get the
McKee's
defending
prediction,
title.
man. I want to hear McKee's
But we gonna
prediction.
get his prediction. We didn't get his
We
prediction. You
didn't.
right. Let's go.
I want to hear
Let's
his
get it. What's
prediction.
that prediction for King?
I was hoping you didn't get back to it so I could take whoever won. Because I was going to take whoever won and say I said that. Man, I'm going to tell you, man, God, I hate to pick against Ben. God, but let me tell you, I hate to pick against Ben. But I'm going to do it. Because I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to be brief because I know the show is about over. I'm going to be brief. This is why I'm going to say Howard's going to win. This why. We're due for a MEAC letdown by Howard. We are. But I'm gonna tell you, if you saw that game, if you look, if Howard
Defense
plays
play
with
like
the
that. Yeah.
intensity, the defense, and I was telling Ben, their running backs run with violence. And if they can win those one-on-one matchups that they won all day against North Carolina Central, what I mean by that, I mean possession dump passes with one person to beat,
Right.
and Howard won every one-on-one battle.
Right.
Juke, juke, first down. Running through three tacklers, first down. If they play like that again, now to Ben's point, Ben is banking on the fact that they played like that because of the emotions of what North Carolina Central did by putting that 50 on them last year. I think it's bigger than that. I think that coach up at Howard is doing a heck of a job. I think they go out there this week. The go-go is playing. The mambo sauce is being dipped in all kind of wings from Northeast. Ben's Chili Bowl sells 1 million bowls of chili. And Howard represents the MEAC
In
in the
celebration.
ATL. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
You heard
That's what
that,
I'm
didn't you?
thinking.
You heard
That's what
that.
I'm thinking.
But we don't. Hey, there's no more discussion.
That's
All
what
it
I'm thinking.
is
That's what I'm
just to
thinking.
see what happens. And look, hey, look.
Get your
Before
popcorn
we get
ready.
out,
Get your popcorn ready.
before we get out, hey, I will say this. I wouldn't be shocked if Howard does pull it off, because they did play well yesterday. But I just sense that letdown.
God, I do too.
I sense. But but on that,
I do too. I do
any,
too.
let's get some final. Let's get some final shouts before we get out.
Whew.
Hold on, hold on, man. Oh, a man.
She right though.
That's high.
I mean, she
That's
right.
high. That's high.
She right though.
Hey, look, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, let that
But
because
they might show. They gonna
they
show
thinking
up.
about
Look,
exams up there. They
look,
thinking
look.
about
They
exams.
talk about.
They ain't
They talk about Kamala coming because they got a chance to go in celebration ball.
if Kamala come across that street and she don't help get no more jobs opening. No, I'm joking. But
Whoa, whoa.
Hey, bro,
I'm
unemployment
joking.
down.
I'm joking. I'm
Hey,
joking.
we just
Kamala
went
is
up in
not
the
gonna be
flyover states.
Kamala.
Our ratings just
Kamala
went
not
up
even.
in Nebraska in the flyover states. Ooh, we're big there. Woo, good job, Ben. Hey, big shout
Hey,
out to Dr. Vincent, the new president of Howard University. Welcome to the BA.
shout
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
shout out,
yeah.
shout out.
And about to go
And I
to a
But
got
on that note,
celebration.
we got yeah.
go ahead. I
No,
was just
no.
gonna say final shout out. That's all I was gonna say.
Go ahead, McKee. Do your
No,
thing.
you got it. You got okay. All right. My final shout out is our school of the week, which will coming this week from the CIAA that has their tournament up in B More every year now. That it moved from Charlotte to Baltimore. The program that we're lifting up at Livingstone College this week, LC, who you with, as they say down in Salisbury. The Hospitality Management Department consists of programs in hospitality management and culinary arts. Students enrolled in these programs will gain thorough understanding in organizational management principles, develop leadership and management skills, and be able to understand and interpret the business setting while gaining practical experience in their respective fields of studies. And they converted a hotel
Yep,
off campus
yep,
into a culinary arts standalone
yep.
facility so that they get practical hands-on experience. Big shout out to LC in the building.
And we
Eh,
went
eh,
and
eh,
just
eh, eh,
we
eh.
went by there, McKee. Me, being and I,
Okay.
we went by there and saw it's beautiful. And what they do down there,
Oh,
it's
nice,
awesome. And the facility is
nice.
awesome.
That's great, great.
Good shout out. Good shout out, man. Good shout out.
Ken, you got anything else?
No, man, this was fun. I hope
Very.
I hope y'all have me back every week. If
We
not,
will.
that's
And
it.
I want to shout out and thank
Oh, wait a minute,
Amanda
where's
for
D?
hey. Okay, and Amanda is in Minneapolis, so shout out
Shout
to
out,
Minneapolis. Let me
yeah.
do this for all the Prince fans.
Sing some Prince, y'all. Sing some
Hey
Prince.
man,
Come on.
hey man, hey man, it's cold up there, man.
It's cold up there, man.
There's cold.
It's
Look, man,
cold out there, Rain.
there's a
It's
cold
cold
like
out there,
there's
Rain.
cold like no. You think it's cold up there? It's cold.
Cold out there, Rain.
It's cold, man.
Cold. Hey,
Cold
shout
that
out
make you
to
cry when you walk
you,
out in it.
Amanda, and everybody tuning in. Shout out once again. Catch us, like, subscribe. Catch us next week. Oh, let me do this though.
Hey,
From Stern.
hey,
So
one
let me
more
do
time,
this.
Ben. One more
What's
time,
that?
Ben. Everybody, please tune in next week. We're gonna have Attorney Free back, and we also gonna have Eric Deal from the hit movie HBCSU, Historically Black Sellout University, the film. Please check it out, and you can find him
And it's
at
on
it's on Amazon Prime
Amazon.
and Hulu. And you can find him on Instagram at HBSU underscore film, HBCU underscore FILM. Big shout out to Eric Deal. We'll see you next week, man.
No doubt. And
Looking
we
forward
out.
to
Go
it.
check out HBSU on Hulu and Amazon Prime. And we'll be back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. We'll see you.
All right.
Appreciation.
Peace.